Okay, speaking of other RIP bozos, Leonid Radvinsky, the owner of Onlyfans, dies age 43. This guy was the single largest donor to AIPAC. I believe it was 2023 to 2024. He pledged, it was like $11 million after October 7th to assist Israel in valiantly defending itself. Yeah, so he used his enormous wealth, which came from, he started off as a teenage porn entrepreneur and then created OnlyFans. And when he died, he was a billionaire and used that money to fund genocide. He died of cancer. He died of cancer. And normally our perspective is fuck cancer, but I don't really know if I could say that here. Yeah, I think this man was cancer. I think that's what happened there. He was so cancerous as a human being that it's fitting that's how he died. I can't believe cancer was diagnosed with this man. Yeah. We are deeply saddened to announce the death of Leo Radvinsky. Leo passed away peacefully after a long battle with cancer. His family have requested privacy at this difficult time. Radvinsky, a Ukrainian-American billionaire with a net worth of about $3.8 billion, acquired Phoenix International Limited, which is OnlyFans' parent company, in 2018. He served as the company's director and majority shareholder. Born in Odessa, he grew up in Chicago and studied economics at Northwestern. According to the Wall Street Journal, he began running pornography sites as a teenager. He was just a young businessman. In recent months, Radvinsky had engaged in talks to sell a 60% stake in OnlyFans in a sale that would have valued the company at about $8 billion. According to OnlyFans, he had moved his ownership to a trust in 2024. OnlyFans, founded in 2016, best known for pornographic material, allows adult film workers, film actors, and sex workers to make money from posting content on the subscription-based platform. The company typically takes a 20% cut of payments, leaving the remaining 80% for creators, which resulted in dividends of hundreds of millions of dollars for Radvinsky. The UK-based company grew in popularity during the pandemic and has established itself as a way to generate a significant income online. OnlyFans has said it is focused on empowering women and content creators to post sexually explicit content in a safe online environment. Although OnlyFans has tried to expand beyond sexually explicit content, pornographic material remains its best known product. In 2021, it briefly announced that it would ban sexually explicit content before quickly reversing course, and some creators on the website promote various interests such as photography, fitness, and makeup. Radvinsky's company was not without controversy as well. 2024 Reuters investigation reported on women who said they'd been sexually enslaved to make money from the site. Yeah, it's interesting because when I was looking through the news on the reporting on his death, I didn't see mention of his financial ties to the IDF and to Israel. And I Googled it on my own because I was like, wait a second, wasn't this guy like one of the single largest, wasn't he like one of the single largest donors to the Israel cause? And that is not mentioned here. Yeah, this guy who's Ukrainian. The crossover between Ukrainian and Israel supporters, like Zelensky himself. Zelensky, who really deeply admires Benjamin Netanyahu. Yep, here we go. OnlyFans owner pledged $11 million to Israel lobby. Shit. Let me log it. Oh, you know what? We're the Piece posted about it. Wear the Piece, where I got my necklace. Leonid Vervinsky, the billionaire behind OnlyFans, has died of cancer. He was one of the largest single donors to AIPAC, the pro-Israel occupation lobbying group with pledges around 11 million supporting policies geared toward the destruction of the Palestinians. He didn't create OnlyFans. He acquired the majority of shares in the company. Yeah, I guess that's like Elon Musk and Tesla and pretty much all his companies. He's credited as the founder of OnlyFans. Yeah, so I am not mourning this dude at all because he is yet another billionaire who used his money for evil, as is the case so often. Are we finally getting some deaths of not beloved figures of society instead of all our best? It seems to be that all of my pleas to wake up and read the news and see which influential figures have died and to not have them be like beloved cultural beloved cultural icons. It seems as if those prayers have been heard. Yeah, please, Lord, please take it somebody who actually deserveth it. Please, no more Catherine O'Hara's, please. Can't believe 20% of my income went to this shithead. As is the case with pretty much all these billionaires who own these multi-billion-dollar corporations. Rest in power to the cancer. Oh my God. Whoever said, I can't believe cancer was infected with this man. I'm checking online to see if, it's interesting because like I didn't see that many people talking about talking about Leonid Vervinsky, but maybe it's just I didn't see it.
Out of every 50 women. And
Radvinsky had denied that he had donated to AIPAC, although when asked why he was listed, he said, I don't know. And then when shown wire confirmation of his wife contributing, he stopped responding. This motherfucker tried to be like, that wasn't me. I don't know. I didn't do it. What? Hold on. God damn it. I have to sign in. Always got to sign in. Always got to sign in to all my freaking accounts here, but I want to read this story. The Shaggy defense wasn't me. Wasn't me. Okay. So this is the piece in the Lever. In the wake of the October 7th attacks, AIPAC reaped a $90 million fundraising haul, which is so sickening. Top benefactors on a list of 2023 donors reviewed by The Lever represent a cross-section of the U.S. elite, including pro sports team owners, heads of private equity firms, real estate titans, a Maryland congressman now running for the U.S. Senate, the former CEO of Victoria's Secret, who we've talked about a lot because of being best friends with Jeffrey Epstein, the co-founder of the dance exercise company Zumba. No, not Zumba. And the creator of Squishmallows? Not Squishmallows. The beloved children's toy. That is so sickening. That is so sickening that the creator of Squishmallows was one of the top benefactors to AIPAC, a person who made a lot of money selling a children's toy that it's not just for children, but it was geared initially at children and then used their funds to genocide children. Like, it's so sickening. I know. I feel so. It's awful. It's awful. The lover attempted to contact more than 75 of the individuals on the list of donors. 9 people confirmed that they were AIPAC donors. Both Zumba and Squishmallows were very popular in Israel in 2010s. 9 people confirmed to lover they were AIPAC donors. 6 individuals were listed as AIPAC board members. 7 other individuals on the list are publicly listed as being involved in pro-Israel political giving. Prior to publication, the lover showed AIPAC the information reported in this story. The organization responded with an emailed statement. Much of the information here is either misstated, misinterpreted, inaccurate, or illegally obtained. Since October 7th, there's been a systematic effort by Israel's detractors to harass, intimidate, and silence supporters of the Jewish state. All detractors should know that their attacks only increase our determination to strengthen the U.S.-Israel relationship. When the lover asked AIPAC spokesperson to identify any inaccurate information, the organization did not respond. The Squishmallow fan community contacted the company's AIPAC and IDF ties and immediately boycotted them. This was pretty shortly after October 7th, may be proud. I completely missed that. So yeah, AIPAC, when asked to identify what information was inaccurate, went. The lover followed up 3 times before publication, but the spokesperson stopped responding. 3 individuals named on the list denied being donors. That includes Leonid Radvinsky, the billionaire owner of Onlyfans, a hugely popular internet platform dominated by sex workers. According to the internal documents, he and his wife pledged $11 million to AIPAC, the most of anyone listed. I didn't donate or pledge $11 million, Radvinsky wrote in an email, and this applies to me, my foundation, and my family. When the lover asked Radvinsky why AIPAC had him listed as a donor, he replied, I don't know. When the lover asked Radvinsky to comment on internal AIPAC documentation showing a wire transfer from his wife to AIPAC, he stopped responding. It's like, you know what? Just fucking own it. What's the cause here for denial? Were you afraid that your evil sins would be revealed? You know, it's the same thing as AIPAC bragging in the aftermath of the Illinois primaries that being pro-Israel is popular. But the reality is they did not advertise at all that the candidates who they were pumping money into their campaigns were pro-Israel, pro-AIPAC candidates. They used a variety of affiliate PACs named like electing women in Chicago, named like progressive values, that kind of bullshit, to disguise that ultimately it was originating from AIPAC. They did not include in the advertisements and in the marketing that these candidates were supported by these affiliates because they're pro-Israel. And I wonder why that is. The internal AIPAC information reviewed by the lover constitutes a rare view inside a well-funded organization that successfully pushed the U.S. government towards unconditional support of Israel for decades, and that's currently using its resources to lobby against a ceasefire that proponents say would alleviate suffering in Gaza. In another donor-only meeting reviewed by the lover, AIPAC made its election strategy clear. During the November 29th event, an attendee asked AIPAC CEO Howard Kaur, how do we encourage our members of Congress to stand up to some of the wildly inaccurate claims coming from the more pro-Hamas camp? This won't come as a surprise to anyone, Kaur answered. We are going to have to continue to demonstrate in even more dramatic ways that if you're willing to stand with Israel when she's at war and she needs America, we are willing to help you politically. As to those elected officials trying to ensure that there's a weakening of Israel at this moment, Kors said they will have to be defeated at the ballot box. AIPAC is legally, never forget that AIPAC is designated as a 501c4, a social welfare organization. That means that the contributions do not have to be made public under federal disclosure laws. And traditionally, AIPAC has kept the identity of its biggest donors a closely guarded secret. The list of donors that the lever reviewed offers insight into the sources of AIPAC's resources. Most of the pledges on the list range between 100,000 to 200,000. Around 20 were between 500,000 and 2 million. One pledge was an outlier at 11 million. This is Leonid Rafinsky. The pledge was credited to Mr. Anonymous and Katie Chudnovsky. Yeah, perfect name. The pledge contained personal contact info and a short bio that identified Mr. Anonymous as Leonid Radvinsky. In the March 19th, 2009 edition of the Chicago Tribune, Chudnovsky posted an announcement of her wedding to Radvinsky, writing, "We will work hard to enrich our marriage and to live life with dignity and dedication." Beyond Radvinsky, the list of donors reviewed by the lever was dominated by finance and real estate professionals. According to the list, that includes Daniel Sundheim, founder of investment firm D1 Capital Partners, Milton Cooper, executive chairman of the real estate giant Kimco Realty, Tony Ressler, co-founder of the asset management firm Ares and owner of the Atlanta Hawks, Jonathan Gray, president of Blackstone Group, shocker, Josh Harris, co-founder of the private equity firm Apollo Global Management and co-owner of the Philadelphia 76ers, the New Jersey Devils, and Washington Commanders. Lloyd Blankfein, former CEO and current senior chairman of the investment bank Goldman Sachs. Aside from finance and real estate, the list was an eclectic mix of powerful Americans. Julie Platt, chair of the prominent Jewish Federations of North America, and the actor Ben Platt's mother pledged $500,000. Shlomo Rechnitz, who reportedly California's largest nursing home operator. Last year, Rechnitz agreed to a settlement after being indicted on charges of Medicare fraud. Judd Zabersky, founder of the toy company Jazzwares, which makes Squishmallows. Remember that Israel is fighting for its very existence, he posted. This is getting close to home for many jazzmanians. Ew. Mark Penn, who's a longtime political operative and the CEO of Stagwell Group, which owns the political consulting firm co-founded by President Biden's senior advisor, Anita Dunn. Leslie Wexner, former CEO of Victoria's Secret and former best friend of Jeffrey Epstein. Alberto Perlman, co-founder of Zumba. This is just, and this is from this is from February 1st, 2024. So this was like in the aftermath, the top, super rich elite donors who pledged a shit ton of money to AIPAC. One of the most prominent names on the list is Representative David Trone, the owner of a massive liquor store chain who's now running for a U.S. seat. I don't remember what happened with. He was unsuccessful. He lost. So he is the owner of a massive liquor store chain. He's been an AIPAC supporter for years. Then there's also Richard Thalheimer, founder of home electronics company Sharper Image. Wait, what was? It's Total Wine. That's Trone's liquor store chain. Ken Alterman, the former CEO of the thrift store chain Savers Inc. Jacob Klein, a New Jersey real estate developer. Paul Blurg, who's the 90-year-old founder of the drug ingredients manufacturer Spectrum Chemicals. So much money and so much power. This reminds me of the pro-Israel billionaire WhatsApp chat in New York City that was advocating for NYPD to crack down on students. Yeah, I think I remember this. Eric Adams is like, give me all your money. Jazzer's CEO also directly donated funds to the Canary Project. So evil. So evil. When Trone ran the first time, he had a white paper on his campaign website about how proud he was to do business in Israel. Sick. The WhatsApp chat included prominent businessmen such as former CEO of Starbucks, Howard Schultz, Dell founder and CEO Michael Dell, hedge fund manager Bill Ackman, and Joshua Kushner, brother of former President Donald Trump, son-in-law and advisor Middle East issues, Jared Kushner. Other leaders were snack company founder Daniel Lubudsky, hedge fund manager Daniel Loeb, billionaire Len Blavatnik, and real estate investor Joseph Sitt. It's always the same names because we're talking about these elite, extremely powerful billionaires who are in control because they own the world's resources. They have so much power in this world and are influence politics and culture and everything. It is the usual suspects always, because it's always these billionaires, these mega, mega, mega rich, powerful people who are at the scene of the crime every time. Like I just talked about Len Blavatnik because of that fuck ass group in Hollywood that has been running smear campaigns and blacklists and targeting people like Miss Rachel and Hannah Einbinder and others who are outspoken on Palestine. The lone exile, thank you for the 8 months. And Len Blavatnik is a Russian oligarch. He's a Russian billionaire oligarch. And he and Casey Wasserman, who just had to step down from Wasserman because of his relationship with Ghislaine Maxwell, found this group, Creative Community for Peace, which claims to be an apolitical nonprofit, and it's not. Yeah. So, just like, do people understand yet again how Palestinians and the Palestinian cause has never had the power here? Do you see billionaires? Do you see people who run like the biggest companies in this world contributing to Palestine, advocating for the liberation of Palestinians? Oh, we got our Ben and Jerry. And look at what happened to them. I know, with Unilever. Blavatnik pulled $100 million of gifts to Harvard after October 7th. Oh, I think I remember that too. Yeah. Speaking of Miss Rachel, have you seen those videos of her video calls with children ICE concentration camps? Yes. Truly some of those heart-wrenching conversations imaginable. I don't know how she has the strength. She is she is so consistent, and I think she's kind of like a Greta Thunberg in the sense that she started off doing this one thing, and not to take away from how successful she was at that one thing, but her thing was making educational content for children on YouTube, and she was extraordinarily successful at that. And a lot of people love Miss Rachel, and so many parents who have Miss Rachel to thank for so much. And then Miss Rachel realized that her love and care of children extends past just making YouTube videos for their early childhood education. And she began to really, really openly advocate and, as she says, get political, because that is what is required to ensure the advocacy for children's safety and security. And it's like when Greta Thunberg started off as a young teenage climate activist, and she became a darling of liberal, establishment. And then she realized that it was not just the environment. It was not just specifically climate action that she needed to be out there fighting for. When she got involved on with the Palestinian cause and realized this is all connected, because the genocide that is happening in Palestine is also genocide that is being done not just to the very human lives there, but to culture, which means which is meant to prevent any future life, genocide to the environment, the poisoning of the soil, the destruction of trees and fish and everything that is required. Yeah, the ecocide that is required for life to sustain. And so now Greta Thunberg has really kind of reoriented herself around being a full-on anti-imperialist, anti-capitalist, because the environment, the destruction to the environment, falls under that. You cannot be an environmentalist without being a staunch anti-imperialist. She's been Miss Rachel's been calling kids that are detained by ICE. Love how hard she goes. Yeah, let me pull up the story here. Miss Rachel on Blue Milk Tea, thank you for the 4 months. Space Cadet, thank you for the 20 months. Derp, thank you for the 27 months. Our local bylaws now ban the use of AI for union business. Let's go. A Folksican American, thank you for the 3 months. Miss Rachel says, I am political as she fights to close ICE facility in Texas that's detaining children. It's political to believe that every child is equal. She is currently fighting to close the Dilley Immigration Processing Center in South Texas, where ICE has been detaining children and their parents. She said she first found out about Dilley after federal agents detained the father of 5-year-old Liam Conejo Ramos. That is the little boy in the blue hat. Per NBC News, she says children have complained of limited education, lights that never turn off, and moldy food at Dilley. Amid the Trump administration's immigration crackdown, more than 2,300 children have been put into detention with their parents, with the overwhelming majority held at Dilley, according to figures provided by court-appointed monitors. Many have been held for several weeks or months. Miss Rachel recently had a video call with 9-year-old Dever Jimenez, who was detained at Dilley along with his parents in early March. Let me see if I can somebody send me a link to that? It was her second video call with a detained child, the first being with a 5-year-old named Guile. Oh yeah, this is the little kid who's trying to get to the spelling bee. Speaking to NBC News, Miss Rachel said it was unbelievably surreal to see this sweet little face and feel like I was on a call with somebody who's in jail. It broke me, and it was something I never thought I'd encounter in life. We're trying to get a child out of jail to do a spelling bee. I just never thought those words would go together. She's now working with lawyers and immigration activists to close Dilley and make sure that kids and their parents are back in their communities where they belong. Thank you.
You could help us to live this. You want us to? I don't want to be here anymore. I don't want to be here anymore. It's good here.
Oh, I'm so sorry. A lot of people want to try to help.
I want to live or go to the spelling bee.
You have a real gift for spelling. You're so smart.
When I eat the food from here, my stomach starts hurting.
Saber, you know what? We talked to your teachers today. We talked to the principal in your school, and they miss you so much.
Alif before the spelling bee.
Yeah, we're gonna try.
Look at what he's doing. He's sending you a heart.
Oh my god, so much love.
Like, imagine you are a child and the person out there fighting for you is Miss Rachel, a children's educator on YouTube. Like, yes, this is a perfect, like I don't mean that as Miss Rachel has no business doing this. She doesn't know what she's doing. It's just like the reality of being a child who maybe used to watch Miss Rachel videos teaching you how to count and whatnot. And now she's the person who's fighting to get you freed from prison. It's ridiculous. Like, Miss Rachel, this children's YouTuber, trying to take on the government because they're putting little kids in prison because they're genociding children. They're bombing kids in the Middle East. They're imprisoning children in the United States of America. Why does it come down to Miss Rachel to try to literally save children's lives? I know. Her decision to speak out over the last year on political issues has generated backlash, which is so crazy. It is so crazy, the amount of backlash. And I don't even think backlash, no, the amount of harassment, the amount of disgusting targeted harassment over the role that a children's entertainer should play in global politics. Well, a children's entertainer has to take on this role in global politics because the politicians certainly are not only not keeping these kids safe, they are signing off on the bombs being used to kill them and their families. They are signing off on the funding for these concentration camps. They're signing off on these policies allowing ICE to kidnap children and hold them in disgusting conditions. The controversies that Miss Rachel has endured after speaking out in support of children in Gaza have led to threats against her family. She was originally worried that getting involved in the battle against ICE here in the U.S. would only add fuel to the backlash against her, but she couldn't stay idle after learning about Dilly. I am political. It's political to believe that children are worthy of love and care and that every child is equal and that our care shouldn't stop at what we look like, our family, at our religion, at a border. Many of them are actually signing the bombs. Yeah, literally signing the bombs, signing off on the bombs and signing the bombs. Miss Rachel represents somebody who, yes, as I said, she's extraordinarily successful as a YouTuber, but she was not politically involved. She was not an activist. She did not do this kind of work, but she is a person of moral clarity. She's a person of conviction and consistency, and seeing children suffering as somebody whose entire world revolves around the support and guidance of kids as they are developing, she stepped up. She stepped up.
President Trump.
She said, I could not stay silent. Even after speaking out for Palestinian children and having threats on her life and her family's lives, she has continued to keep going because too many children are still continuing to suffer.